Oh no, this ends tonight. Oh no, this is your last chance to thrive in life. Some of the emails we get in our inboxes sound like that. Kind of pressuring, kind of overwhelming, kind of making it sound like if you don't buy that one stuff, if you don't get that one discount, your life is gonna suck. And that's how most people use urgency, but there are different ways to use urgency in a way that makes your audience feel good and you feel good and it's still converting. So today I'm gonna review 2 emails that tap into that idea of urgency, but from different angles. I'm also gonna run a short experiment because the most times people use urgency emails is usually around Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And when all emails sound the same and your subject line is basically the same as 100 other emails somebody receives in one day, it's very hard to stand out from the crowd. However, when you take a different route and you make your messaging disruptive, that's when you stand out from the crowd. So let's go into my inbox and I'm gonna share with you what my inbox looked like during Black Friday last year. And this is a search for the keyword last chance. And this is what I got. So let's look at this. Obviously, this one is really good. We should look at that at some point. Last chance for Cyber Monday. Sale ends tonight. Today is the day. You snooze, you lose. Last day, again, Cyber Monday deals. Cyber Monday, 50% off. Monica, it's your last chance. 40 hours left. You can still save. Last chance for this bonus. Oh, ending soon. Your chance for Black Friday is ending soon. Last chance for 50% off. Last chance, last chance, last chance. Last call, last chance. Oh. Now, there's going to be a big difference. So in my inbox, I have lots of copywriting services or copywriters. So to some extent, my inbox actually looks so much better just because I have these people in here who, just like me, they're looking for different ways to convey urgency and drive action. But I can assume that for the majority of consumers who, I know, get a lot of e-com stuff, who get a lot of brands, who get a lot of deals from big brands, their inbox actually looks like this, like a huge collection of last chance, last chance, last chance, last chance. But in this urgency hell, you can see the ones that stand out from the crowd. So let's see, we have This Story Has Made Me Millions. We have the first one here. What's driven hundreds of freelancers into freelancing school in the last 5 days? You maybe even like use News You Lose 10% just because it rhymes and it's fun. But most of them, as you can see, it's all about what you're going to miss out on. You're going to miss out on a discount. You're going to miss out on a bonus. You're going to miss out on savings. So it's kind of the same thing, right? So what if we shift perspective a little bit? A lot of people assume that your audience doesn't buy because the discount wasn't good enough. Or to flip it on the other side, you can assume that your audience buys something because you're offering a discount. But I believe that's like the smallest nudge you can give your audience. Because when it comes to making a decision, to enrolling into a new course, to trying something new, it's not about the discount necessarily. I mean, if your discount isn't like 70% off and it's more like 25%, 35%, then you need to have different ways of conveying the potential value your course has in transforming your audience's life. And that's when the problems actually arise, because most people, they're not in the right mindset every time to actually find a solution for a problem. Most people, their problem doesn't really hurt. And if it doesn't really hurt badly, at the time they're receiving your emails, they're not going to be motivated enough to actually buy it. Because at this point, you kind of have two different types of motivations. You have the external motivation of get this discount, And if you don't get it now, you're going to miss out on savings. And this taps into the fear of missing out, which is a very, very powerful driver for action. But because so many people use it, it's kind of a tactic that's slowly getting to be outdated. Plus, your audience recognizes it. And when they get an email that says last chance for 35% off, if they're not really interested in you as a brand and they're not gonna, I don't know, really interested in your offer, they're not gonna open it because it doesn't really say anything new. It just says last chance to get 35% off. So you're kind of missing out on a big chance to get your audience's attention. The other element of this is that when it comes to buying something, right? Choosing an offer when your problem isn't very painful, then you are reacting from the logical part of your brain, right? It's this part of the brain. And when you're triggered by, okay, buy this, purchase this, invest this, you're kind of going into analyzing mode, and it's prioritizing. Okay, so do I need this now? Well, no. And do I have time for this now? Well, no. And do I have money for this? Well, yes, no, maybe. I could have, but I think I have other priorities. Then you also have the element of false beliefs and limiting beliefs of, I'm not good enough. What if I'm going to fail? I'm afraid this is not going to work for me. I tried before and I failed. I tried other things before and they weren't what I was hoping they will be. I don't think I'm ready. So you have all these other elements, which is more like the intrinsic motivation of why you should do something, right? So if the pain isn't big enough for you to desperately need a solution now, the discount is just like a small nudge. If you go the other route where you talk about the under layers of not taking action, and you position their resistance to not taking action in a way that relates back to how they're not going to achieve their personal goals, then you would have a much better way of making your emails hit home. And I'm gonna just go back into my inbox and I'm gonna explain all of this with an email because it's a lot easier than just looking at my pretty face talking. Okay, so this is the basic stuff, right? We have last chance to choose whatever 3 insider slots left, get yours tonight, which communicate only one thing. We have a discount, it's gonna expire, take action before this time so you don't miss out. Now, let's see how other people are doing urgency in a way that feels much better. So one of them is 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤𝐤. Weeb, kind of suck. That I can't really use. So we have this one from Copy Hackers, and Joanna is a god of copywriting. I know. And I really relate a lot with how copy hackers position urgency and how they talk about using email marketing to drive action, well, inspire action. So I relate a lot with this type of copywriting. Now, let's look at what this says. This is basically an urgency email. It tackles a potential question like, why would I enroll in this, right? So it tackles that question not by talking about the offer, like, well, it has thousands of hours of content, but by giving the actual customer language of people who have the same issues, who are in the same state, but they have overcome their fear and their procrastinations and their doubt, and they enrolled. So this is super cool, right? So what's driven hundreds of freelancers into freelancing school in 5 days? So we have the countdown, which is the mark of an urgency email. And we have this information, which saving 200 a month or 1,000 a year on our brand new training. So this is basically the offer, and you have a link. So it reminds you, this is urgent, this is expiring, but it doesn't leave it just with this. And that's where most urgency emails end. They go beyond and they bring on the social proof and they bring on the customer language, and they remind people of the problem they have. And I don't know if my languages in here because I sent this one as well. And I don't know if my message is in here. It's the first time I'm looking at this email, but I did send like a self-assessment after enrolling for Black Friday. So the idea is to help the reader relate to the kind of person who would benefit from this offer. And it's not the brand saying things about themselves and the offer, it's actually other people, it's peers, right? And that makes it one more authentic because they're probably going to use similar language related to their pain points, similar to yours. It's also more authentic, more realistic, because they describe specific situations that you're in. So, stuck and unsure how to move forward. I would love to supplement my income. I want to build a client list. This one also is like a pain point for a very specific persona. Like you get more coaching, right? That's a very interesting benefit. I wanted to transition to freelance copywriting 100% as soon as I can. I need better system to manage my booked out agency. My plans have always been to really launch into a copywriting career. I need more systems and some push. And I've stagnated at making this amount and I'd like to double that. And here's the lovely part. So if you can relate, if you want to make more money, if you want to work with clients you like who say things like, we love working with you, if you want to get unstuck and stop facing every day at your desk alone, if you want to make 5K a month working 10 hours a week, that's a very interesting thing because it actually pinpoints the desired outcome. And this reduces the overwhelm of, okay, I want all of this, but how much time do I have to put into doing all of this? And tackling uncertainty and overwhelm in an urgency email is a very smart way to drive action because you're taking away the fears and the excuses and the limiting beliefs people have that keep them from actually taking action. Score your spot in freelancing school now. Oh, yes, not just because it's 67% off and the deadline is pronto. I love this. I use this tactic as well. Sometimes one of the urgency emails I write, it's all about this. Like, get this, but not because it's on sale today and it's going to expire tonight. Buy this or, I know, try this because. And this is basically reiterating the pains people have, right? So you want to adjust your scarcity mindset and charge more. You have a vision for your life that's getting bigger daily. You want to show your family this is not the hobby. I like that. Hell, you just like buying nice stuff and want more cash. Whatever your why is, one is perfectly valid. Save the world or buy it. Work 10 hours or 100, your why is up to you. And this is very important because many offers are presented in like, there's just one way you can achieve this. There's a very fixed way. And if you don't relate to how we do stuff, well, the presumption is if I can't do it like you say, I'm not going to be successful, right? The other thing is this is mirroring the reader. It's very compassionate, focused. And it's something that's very helpful for many audiences, especially for this audience. Sure, I'm a copywriter and I can relate, but for many freelancers and for many people who are trying to break the status quo, who are trying to do things in a different way, they are met with lots of resistance and doubt and uncertainty in their real life. I mean, their spouse might not necessarily support them, or if they do get support from their spouses, it's still that pressure of when am I actually gonna get there, have the money, have the time, and all of that. Other people, they have such a big why that just feels so emotional that they feel nobody's gonna understand them. Even they doubt themselves just because of how big the why is, right? So this one says very nicely, whatever your why is, it's perfectly valid. And I like that. I think that's very strong. And two, let us help you make leaps toward it here. Again, nice. Nice, I like this. This is a really nice email. Interesting enough, they're not using a button, but yeah, it's copy hackers. They have a very specific audience. I'm sure they get really good conversions with this. Let's look at another one. Access revoked. Let's look at this one. So this was sent November 25th, and it's from Digital Marketer. Access revoked. I think This is a very good way of standing out from the crowd. It still taps into urgency and the fear of missing out. So, I mean, what I said earlier, our Black Friday collection this year is one of the best we've ever offered, but because of that, at midnight tonight, I'm taking it back. I mean, we have to, we want to stay in business. This means not only will the massive discount disappear, but your access to the special bundle offers will be revoked too. It's hard to believe that the Black Friday deals will be locked away in the digital marketer vault forever. If you don't head over here, now you're going to lose your chance. So, this is a very basic, simple, clear, maybe even like effective urgency email. It only conveys one thing, right? It conveys, hey, this is gonna expire tonight. You only have this amount of time to take action. It does very little to communicate with the reader. At no point is there any connection with the reader, right? It's all about amass more stuff, collect more stuff. This is an amazing bundle, go get it. And because it's digital marketer and the discounts were massive, like 80%, 73%, 91%, I'm sure this worked as well. But you have to remember that not everyone is digital marketer, and this was Black Friday. So you can't really run 90% discount every time of the year, right? There's a time for each offer, let's call it that. So I hope this gave you an idea of how you can use urgency in a way that really connects deeply with your audience and conveys more than just what they're missing out, like the discount. It's also about the implied consequences of not taking action when you have a good deal in front of you. So, yeah, it's fun, right? Urgency emails are one of the best performing emails in any promotions. I wrote one at some point, and I'm going to leave the link in the comments. There's a type of email I write which coaches fear of starting something new, and I've used that I think 5 times across different promotions. And for just one client, it made $50,000 plus over maybe the 3 or 4 times I ran it for their offers. But it's the type of email you can recycle and use for different clients, different promos, different offers, different audiences. It's a very versatile one, and it's fun to write. It sounds authentic and it engages your audience. Plus, it delivers so much value. So much value because the person who's reading that email, it's like, okay, so it's not like this is all about the discount. I'm not hoarding more courses, right? This is actually a reflection of something deeper. And it's not showing up just now when I'm presented with a discount and an opportunity to get this course so I can solve this problem. It can appear in other elements, in other sides, in other parts of my life. And this is very interesting because you can deliver so much more impact when you make your sales emails really, really powerful and personal. And I love that. And I think everyone should know more about it, which is why I created a book called Inspire Action, Not Anxiety. And it walks you through 3 different urgency emails I use for the creators I write for. And they tap into the urgency tactic, but in a way that really, really feels good for the brand and for the reader, and it's also effective. And I'll leave a link for that as well. So thanks for watching this. Leave me a comment if you want me to review something specific. I would love to hear your feedback. I want to know, are you using urgency emails? What's it like? Do you enjoy writing or sending them? Would you want to make them better? I'm curious. So let's start the conversation in the comments.